2, 1.
Congratulations!
I got it.
You got it!
Good afternoon and welcome to Emerge's 9th annual Build the Village Luncheon. My name is Ashley Cash and I am honored to serve as Emerge's CEO. We're thrilled to gather in a room full of new friends and longtime supporters and partners. Please go ahead and enjoy your lunch. We will have some time later for you to finish your meals and enjoy the company of your table. Now, I know following a video like that with students screaming with joy is a tough act to follow, and I will try my very best. Those moments you just watched, every single one of them, the screams, the tears, the disbelief, those are real. And behind every one of those moments is a student who worked for years to get there, a family that sacrificed to make it possible, and a village, this village, that walked alongside them. That is why we're here today. And because it truly takes a village, I want to take a moment to recognize some of the people that made today possible. I kindly ask that you hold your applause until the end. To our host committee and our amazing event co-chairs, Kate Deering-Fowler and Kate Schilling Kelm, thank you for your generosity and commitment to bringing this luncheon to life. To our sponsors, our valedictorian sponsors, Laura and John Arnold and the Jerry C. Deering Family Foundation, our salutatorian sponsors, Janet F. Clark and Virginia Ginger A. Clark, our summa cum laude sponsors, Hillary Holmes Archer and Matthew Archer, and Katie and Nick Johnson, and to HEB for the beautiful floral arrangements you have at your table. Thank you all for investing in our students and in this mission. To our board of directors and our advisory council, thank you for your deep commitment and leadership to our scholars. To our district leaders and partners, thank you for your collaboration, your investment, and perhaps most importantly, your trust. To the Emerge program managers and team back there and around the room, this all works because of your consistent care and belief in our students. Thank you. To our Emerge alumni, you are proof of what's possible, and we're grateful you choose to come back and invest in those coming behind you. And finally, to the heart of Emerge, our scholars. At this time, I'd like to ask our Emerge scholars and our alumni to please stand and be recognized. You are why we are here. You represent the future of this city, and it is our privilege to walk alongside each of you. Please join me just one more time in thanking our scholars, alumni, and everyone who helped bring us here today. What you just saw in those acceptance videos, that's the beginning. Today, you're going to see what happens when that beginning is cultivated through every chapter that follows, through college, into careers, and back to Houston. In a moment, you're going to meet Emerge alumna Marlee Morgan and see what's possible when talent is met with long-term support and a community that never stops showing up through the highest moments and through the hardest ones. Please turn your attention to the screen.
When I look back at who I was as a kid, I can see pieces of this journey already starting. Emerge helped me turn that drive into something bigger.
A moment when I knew Marlee was going to be independent was when she was about 9 years old. We went to the convenience store and she came out and she was extremely mad. And she was like, the man in the store is trying to cheat me. I bought chips, Skittles, and a drink and he's trying to overcharge me. I said, Marlee, that is correct. You did add up everything right. However, you have to pay taxes on it. She went back in the store, apologized to the store owner, and purchased her things. So in that moment, I knew that Marlee had integrity and was going to always speak up for herself.
My 9th grade year, there were 2 students who were in my high school at Westbury, and they told me about the Emerge program.
I was just excited, if not more than her. I was like, man, you done got in a program that's really gonna change your life.
One of the things Emerge does differently is you're never doing this alone. You have people in your corner guiding you through high school and through college, like Margot.
I first met Marlee during the summer college visit for California in 2019. And one thing that I loved about Marlee's personality was how serious she was about getting to know the different colleges that we visited during that trip. Marlee and I had monthly conversations. Every time that she would receive an acceptance, we were able to look at her financial aid package and make the decision that fit best for her and her family.
She showed us different colleges. She met with us to see what was our goals and preferences of what we wanted college to feel like, look like. I had already done a lot of research about UVA, and so I knew they had a really good business program. They had sports. UVA shifted from dream to possibility when I got the acceptance letter, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like I got accepted. Emerge has been there for me and my family in some of our brightest moments and in some of our darkest.
Last night at approximately 10:30 p.m., University Police responded to a call of shots fired in the Culbreth parking garage.
I remember checking the news and seeing that the shooting had happened at UVA, and my stomach immediately sank. We ended up finding out that Marlee had been injured.
Immediately after the shooting, I jumped on a plane, and when I got off the plane, actually the first person that got a call through was Dr. Anderson from Emerge. And she was very concerned, and she just was like, what do you need? What does the family need? How can we help?
Emerge going kind of above and beyond and not just helping me, but was in supportive of my family was something that I would really remember. Just being able to have a program that started off with just learning more about college, transformed to a place where I was really cared for in different ways.
All of the interviews and stuff that they're doing today, have you guys...
That moment changed the way I saw everything. It reminded me how much my goals and future really mattered. I didn't just want to get through college. I wanted to be intentional about what I was building next. Through Emerge, they were sending out these lists of internships that were available, and so one of them was an oil and gas company, Third Coast, where I ended up applying into, and then I got accepted.
A lot of the interns are a little bit intimidated, but the thing that really struck me the most is when she came into my office, she was determined to make the most of the experience.
He has given me so much support, not only career-wise, but also investing in my well-being and safety while I've been at UVA, which has been something that I'm super, super grateful for. When I think about my future, coming back to Houston is part of it. Emerge helped connect me to the opportunities that make that possible.
Her track coach and some of her friends, they call her either Texas or Houston. They don't even call her Marlee.
Being able to develop skills both in my undergrad and grad school, and to be able to curate that into something that I can bring back to Houston is really cool, because it's something that I never knew I could do. My journey is still unfolding, and I know Emerge will continue to be part of it.
The world is going to hear about Marlee Morgan. She's a planet shaker.
She has taught me to believe that really anything's possible. For her to have the experiences she had, and not only just fight through it, but excel, was inspiring.
It's not like Emerge is just that college prep program that I thought it was initially, but it's like a lifelong care system. She continues to speak with Emerge, and it was life-changing because it's never ending.
I had dreams of my kids going to local colleges, and Emerge made it a reality for her and my family that she could go somewhere so much greater, so much bigger. I have a child that has goals and desires that's so big, and she's in a position to actually accomplish them where they're not just dreams anymore. So that just gives me so much pride and joy.
Marlee Morgan, thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. We are waiting with bated breath for all that you're going to continue to accomplish and achieve. And I want to take a moment to recognize the people who really make it possible. Her mom, Kimberly, her dad, Yosef, and her brother, Ethan. Would you all please stand so this room can recognize you? What you just witnessed is what Emerge is built for. Not just the celebration, but the long road, the sometimes difficult road. Being there when it matters most and never leaving. That commitment is deeply personal to me. Last year, I sat in this room at that table over there with Denise as a guest. I listened to a student describe an experience that echoed my own, except she had something I didn't. She had Emerge. And I walked out of this room knowing I wanted to ensure more students had what I didn't: the knowledge, the advocacy, and a community walking beside them. And today, I am fortunate enough to be standing on this stage. You see, my parents didn't go to college. We didn't talk about top universities at the dinner table. We talked about getting by. But I was a kid that wanted something different, and I didn't know how to reach it or how to name it. I remember sitting on my bedroom floor with those thick college guides, circling schools I had no idea how to get to. No one in my family could tell me what the FAFSA was. No one could tell me the difference between early action and early decision. No one could tell me that the schools with the biggest price tags were often the ones with the most generous financial aid. I found my way to Penn and then to Harvard. But I want to be honest with you about what that cost. It cost years of guessing when I could have had guidance. It cost opportunities I didn't know existed until it was too late to pursue them. It costs the kind of confidence that comes from having someone stand behind you and say, "You belong, and I will help you get there." The people I was lucky enough to have in my corner, the teacher who told me to aim a little higher, my mom who brought me to some school visits, they were doing what our program managers do every single day for thousands of students. The difference is that our students don't have to get lucky. They have a system. They have guidance. They have Emerge. Now, I know there's a national conversation happening right now about whether college is still worth it. Here's what I'd say to that. Often, the people who question whether college is worth it are the very ones who have already benefited from one. For students from low-income families, the right college with the right support is still the single most powerful engine of economic mobility in this country. The question was never who gets the key. The question is who gets the key, apologize. And when you look at who gets the key, the numbers are striking. Among the highest achieving students in this country, where you go to college still depends entirely on what your family can afford. Nearly 70% of students at the nation's most competitive colleges come from well-resourced families. For equally qualified students from low-income families, students with the same drive, the same potential, the same ambition, that number is only 4%. Take that in, 4%. Not because the talent isn't there, but because the support isn't there. So the question becomes, what actually closes that gap? Emerge does. Not with information packets, not with a one-time workshop, and not by just getting a student to acceptance and calling it done. Emerge closes that gap with sustained relationship-driven guidance delivered over years, not semesters. Rice University's Kinder Institute studied Emerge, and what they found was clear. Emerge students were 3 times as likely to enroll in selective colleges as equally qualified peers from low-income communities without the program. And here's what I think matters most about that study. The researchers also tested whether simply giving students information, packets about the SAT, the application process, financial aid, could move the needle on its own. It couldn't. Information alone had 0 effect on where students applied or where they enrolled. You cannot pamphlet your way to opportunity. It takes someone who knows your name, who understands your family, and who leans in when it gets hard. It takes what Marlee experienced. It takes what you'll hear from our student speaker, Diana. Emerge starts with students in their sophomore year of high school, and we stay with them through high school, into college, and into careers. School counselors are doing incredible, important work, but each of them is stretched over 400 plus students. Emerge provides the kind of one-on-one guidance that no single counselor can offer at that scale. Our advising ratio is 1 to 50. That means when a student has an essay due at midnight, someone picks up the phone. When a financial aid package doesn't make sense, someone is there to work through it. When a student doesn't know what they don't know, someone is beside them for years, filling in the gap that no one should have to navigate alone. And we make sure students can afford to stay. We help them figure that out. Emerge scholars earn college degrees at 4.5 times the national average from students from similar backgrounds. And the transformational impact doesn't stop there. Research from Dr. Raj Chetty at Harvard shows that students who attend the nation's most selective colleges earn on average $100,000 more per year than peers with the same qualifications at other institutions. And the effect is strongest for students from low-income families. Compounded over a career, that's millions of dollars in earnings flowing back into families, into communities, and into this city. 2/3 of Emerge alumni are living and working here. They are coming back as engineers, researchers, educators, attorneys. They are entering the professional workforce. They are contributing to this economy. They are building here. This is the future of Houston. And we are not done. I became the CEO of Emerge because I believe that this is the most powerful investment we can make in Houston's future. I've seen the data. I've lived the experience. And I know what's possible when the right students meet the right support at the right time. But I also know this. There are thousands of students across the Houston region right now who are Emerge eligible. Students with the grades, the drive, the potential. And we're only serving a fraction of them. The model is proven, the talent is out there. We need to reach more of them, and now is the time. We are going to go deeper with the students we serve and broader in the communities we reach. We are going to strengthen our commitment through college and into careers because getting in was never the finish line. And we're going to build the kind of alumni network that doesn't just benefit individual graduates. It becomes a force that reshapes this city. That is what we're building. And I need your help to build it. Because the truth is, the work has never been sustained by any single individual or single institution. It is sustained by the people in this room who believe that developing Houston's talent is worth investing in year after year. Every student you meet today is proof of what's possible, but they are also a reminder that for every student we reach, there are others we haven't gotten to yet. Students who are right now sitting on their bedroom floors, circling schools in a college guide. Okay, maybe ChatGPTing their way to a college list, so try not to age myself. Trying to find the path on their own. Your investment today is how we find them and how we turn potential into possibility, possibility into purpose, and purpose into leadership for this city. Thank you. And speaking about the great things we can achieve when we build together, we want to honor someone whose belief in this work helped create the foundation we stand on today. Mia Mends has served Emerge as a mentor, board member, and board chair for more than a decade. And there is no one better to recognize her than someone whose life she shaped directly. Emerge alumna, University of Chicago graduate, and data strategist at DoorDash, Ruth Beaubrun.
Thank you, Ashley. There are people who change the direction of your life, and you don't always realize it in the moment. Mia Mends is one of those people for me. Mia has been my mentor for the last 7 years. She came into my life through the Emerge mentorship program, and she has never left. I remember Mia picking me up once from Bel Air High School after band practice. It felt surreal. This corporate powerhouse pulling up to get a low-income Haitian girl carrying a band bag and a backpack full of books. I distinctly remember thinking, she has a nice car. She took me to her home, made a warm, home-cooked meal, and introduced me to her husband and children. We talked about my future. At that time, it may have seemed simple, but for me, it wasn't. See, I didn't grow up in a nuclear family or with much money left over. By then, my siblings had all gone to college, and my mom worked night shift. So sometimes I ate dinner alone. That evening, I ate with the Mends family. And what I remember most is how I felt. I felt at home. That moment rewired something in me. It allowed me to imagine a future that once felt distant, one where all of my dreams came true. That's who Mia is. She shows you your dreams are possible, and she gives you what you need to achieve them. Before I moved to Chicago, Mia bought me my first winter coat. She even sized it up so I could fit layers underneath. At the time, I didn't realize how incredible that was. But on those cold nights, they were very cold. That coat was more than protection from the wind. It was a reminder that I was loved, that someone was thinking of me, and that I was never alone. I want this room to know that my story with Mia is not unusual. This is how she leads. She is known for her work ethic, yes, but honored for her heart, her compassion, her kindness, and her commitment to making everyone, even Haitian American girls like me, feel like they have a family, a village, and lots of love. She is the reason I believe in this village, because she has been a part of mine. Mia, please join me on stage to receive this recognition and gratitude for a legacy of service, mentorship, and leadership.
Oh, gosh. She goes by Ruth now, but I call her Ruthie. This is my Ruthie. Thank you. That was so beautiful. Thank you for your warm, warm words that touched my heart so, so deeply. You know, I can't look at this room. It's hard not to be on a stage like this and reflect on my own journey and this series of improbabilities that got me to a moment like this. Some of you know that I'm an immigrant. I came to this country when I was 8 years old with my parents and two sisters with nothing more than what was in our suitcases. My parents sacrificed everything, their prospects, their careers, their own familiarity, for the possibility that their children could have a better life. And that life would be enabled through great education. They taught us to work hard, to never compromise our integrity, to be brave, to dream boldly, and to use our gifts to try to make the world a little bit better. And those are the values that drew me to emerge. When I became a mentor, I had like one formal mentor, but then I adopted several others. There was Ruthie, there was Will, Dana, Esther, Michael, and yes, they were my family. They did sit around my table with my kids and my husband, and they shared their dreams and their hopes and their fears. And I saw my story in theirs. They are navigating unfamiliar systems, searching for belonging, wrestling with self-doubt, and all the while pushing through with such grit And that determination, one, reminds me of all the values that my parents imparted, but it also reaffirms for me that when you believe in talented young people and you equip them, they can change the world. And so I continue to stay engaged with Emerge because of the mission. It's real and it's impactful, and I love that they have stayed true to it, all the while evolving to meet the needs of more students. And that matters in a city like Houston with all our innovation, diversity, economic vibrancy. This is a city that if you invest in young people, you're also investing in the strength and competitiveness of our city. But beyond that, I love this organization. It has been a source for me of such joy and pride and hope. I am deeply humbled and honored. I want to say thank you to this entire village, and it really is a village, the board, the staff, the advisory council, the leaders of this organization, other mentors, contributors, partners, my family. My mommy is here. My dad is not here, but he's with me in spirit. Layla, Jacob, Yared, the students like Ruthie and their parents and families. Thank you. Thank you for the honor, for the recognition. I hope you leave here remembering the human stories behind the numbers, believing in the power and the scalability of this organization, and feeling compelled to join us in this very important work. Thank you so, so very much.
One more applause for Mia. Before we transition to lunch, I want to invite everyone to lean into the village. You've heard so much this afternoon. Yes, please eat again. At each table, you are joined by an Emerge scholar or alumna. I encourage you to take a moment to connect with them. Ask about their experience, their aspirations, and what lies ahead. And share a piece of wisdom as they prepare for their next chapter. We'll resume our program shortly. Please enjoy your lunch.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tara Burris, and I get the opportunity to work with the scholars that you just spoke with every single day, and I know how incredible they are. We truly hope that you enjoyed meaningful conversations with each of these scholars and or alumni who are here in the room. At this time, we invite you to turn your attention back to the stage as we resume our program. Thanks so much.
All right, you're waiting on me. That was a 4-minute lunch. I don't know what we gave you, so we apologize for that, but I hope that you enjoyed some conversation at your table, and in particular, I hope that you saw the brilliance and heard the experiences of the students and the alumni at your table, because they are a reminder of why this work matters so deeply. Before lunch, I told you that our work is built on relationships. People who know your name, who understand your family, and who don't leave when it gets tough. Every one of our scholars has a program manager who does exactly that. They're the person a student calls when they don't know what to do next, whether it's a college essay, a tough conversation at home, or a moment where they just need someone in their corner. You'll learn more about the student experience from our student speaker today, Diana Villatoro Sorto. I've gotten to know Diana through this process, and what strikes me most is she carries a sense of purpose that goes far beyond herself. Everything she does is connected to family, her community, and the people she wants to lift as she rises. Pair that with the ongoing one-on-one support that Emerge provides, and you've got something truly powerful. This year, Emerge scholars have earned acceptances to schools like MIT, Stanford, Yale, Rice, and Johns Hopkins. And I can't wait for you to hear where Diana is headed. I've got goosebumps thinking about it. It is my absolute honor to introduce you to Diana Villatoro Sorto.
I was 6 years old, standing at the base of the mountain near my village in El Salvador, staring up a path that looked impossibly long for my tiny legs. That day, the climb felt especially impossible because my big brother wasn't there. He was usually the one who carried me when I got tired, when my feet ached and my legs refused to keep going. He will lift me onto his back and make me feel like I was on top of the world. But that day, it was just me and my mother. We stood at the base of a mountain that led to my Aunt Cleofa's house. The sun burned overhead. The stone road beneath my sandals was so hot, I can feel it through my soles. Every 20 steps, I stopped, hands on my knees, trying to catch my breath. I wanted to sit down in the shade and stay there. But my mother knelt beside me and said that if I kept going, she would buy me ice cream at the top. And for 6-year-old me, that was enough. So I stood up, stopped complaining, and kept walking, step by step, through the heat until we finally reached the top. That day, I didn't just earn ice cream. I learned something I carried with me ever since, that perseverance is built one step at a time, and that it helps to have someone besides you who believes the top is worth reaching. Good afternoon. My name is Diana Villatoro Sorto. I'm an Emerge Scholar and a senior in Klein Collins High School in Klein ISD. Today, I want to share with you how Emerge changed the trajectory of my life. When I was 8 years old, my family moved to the United States. On the plane, my very first flight, I imagined we were gonna live in one of those houses near the beach. You know, those big ones you see in Hollywood movies. Instead, we moved to Pasadena, Texas. No beach. And 5 of us in 1 bedroom in my uncle's home. Everything was new, but what made it the hardest was that I didn't speak English and I didn't understand the rules. Some kids call me strange, others call me campesina, peasant, which hurt more than anything because I was doing the very best I could. I tried to hold tears at home because I knew my parents had enough to worry about. My older brother, the same one who gave me piggyback rides up the mountain, had once dreamed of studying civil engineering, but when he came to this country, he went straight to work at 17. So we could get established, so we could move out of 1 cramped room, and so my younger sister and I could have more stability than he ever did. He discarded his dreams for duty. My mother, who had earned a degree in business back in El Salvador, couldn't use it here. Instead of working in an office, she put on a hairnet and an apron and went to work in a school cafeteria. Honest and honorable work, but not the future she had imagined. For much of my childhood, my parents were always working. After school, I took care of my younger sister, homework, cooking, chores. On weekends, my mom and I sold tamales to help my uncle afford his dialysis treatments. Dreaming mattered, but responsibility always came first. My mother, overwhelmed by everything our family was carrying, struggled with her mental health and had to be away for a time. While my father and brother worked, I became the one holding our household together. But over time, because of all those sacrifices, things began to stabilize. And for the first time, I had space, not just physical space, mental space. When I started high school, I wanted to focus on school, focus on my future. I knew I wanted something different than the path my brother was forced to take. I knew there was a top, I just couldn't see it yet. That's when Emerge came into my life and everything changed. I remember the day they pulled me out of my English class. They told us about a program that will help students not just apply to college, but get into the top schools across the country and actually afford to go. I started filling out the application immediately. I was walking to class while doing it. I didn't even want to step into the classroom until I was finished. My teacher saw me in the hallway, still writing, and let me stay outside the door until I was done. Thanks, Mr. G. I knew this was something I could not let go of. And what I found in Emerge was not just help, but applications. It was the village I didn't know I was missing. Through Emerge, I visited college campuses I never knew existed and sat in financial aid workshops where for the first time, someone showed me and my family that a top university didn't have to mean impossible depth. I met other students from across Houston who were carrying the same weight I was, and for the first time, I didn't feel alone in that. Behind every one of us is a program manager who walked with us every step of the way. Mine was Andrea Pedraza. When deadlines piled up, she helped me break them down. When doubt crept in, she reminded me that I belonged in these spaces. One of my favorite memories is this past Halloween. While my friends were out, I was in a Zoom call with Miss Pedraza working on a college application until midnight. And the very next day, I spent 3 hours on a phone call with my Emerge mentor, Miss Audrey, who's a total lifesaver. Emerge didn't just support my dream, they structured it, they strengthened it, they helped make it real. And I know many of you may be wondering where I'll be spending the next 4 years. I want to share this moment with all of you, my village, because you helped lift me here. This fall, I'll be joining the class of 2030 at Princeton University! Thank you. When I told my uncle, my mom's brother, the same one whose house we moved into when we first came to this country, something I'll never forget happened. He's a quiet man, serious, not someone who shows emotion easily. But when he heard the news, he cried. I had never seen him cry before. In that moment, I realized this was not just my achievement. It belonged to my parents who sacrificed their dreams so I could have mine, to my brother who set his aside so I could keep climbing, and to my little sister who's watching closely because now she gets to dream even earlier I did. And her dreams can be bigger because she has seen that they are possible. Princeton is where my journey continues, but Houston, this village, is This village is where I plan to come back to. I want to return as a neurologist and serve the city that has invested in me. And that is the power of this village. That is what happens when you invest in Emerge scholars. We come back. Right now, somewhere in Houston, there's another student climbing her own mountain. She's taking care of siblings. He's translating for his family. They are working harder than anyone sees, and they have everything it takes to reach the top. They just need someone to walk beside them and say, "You belong here. You are not doing this alone." And that is what Emerge does. That is what your support makes possible. I want to close with this. I still think about that 6-year-old girl standing at the base of a mountain, staring up a path that looked impossibly long. She didn't know she would move to a new country, learn a new language, or one day stand on the stage and say the words, Princeton University. She just knew that if someone believed the top was worth reaching, she will keep climbing. Sometimes that's all it takes. One person, one step, one moment where someone says, "Keep going, I'm right here." And sometimes it's giving someone else a hand, or even a piggyback ride, so they can reach the top of their mountain too. Thank you.
How do you follow up with that? That was amazing. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Deanna. Oh my gosh. Woo! When you described your uncle, a quiet, serious man who doesn't show emotion easily, I feel like we all have an uncle like that. Hearing that he cried when you told him about Princeton, I think he speaks for all of us in that moment. And on behalf of everybody in this room, we are just so proud of you. You remind us why this mission matters. And Deanna's parents, Esther and Elmer, are here with us today. Hey, guys. Incredible. Thank you so much for trusting Emerge with your daughter and being part of the climb that brought her here. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kate Fowler, and alongside my dear friend, Kate Schilling Kelm, I have the honor of serving as co-chair of this year's Build the Village Luncheon.
Kate and I met as college students at Tulane.
Advertisement.
College gave us more than degrees. It gave us confidence, perspective, and relationships that have shaped our lives and our careers. That's one of the reasons this work resonates so deeply with both of us. We know that what the right college experience can unlock, and Emerge is making sure more students get that chance.
So you heard from Marlee, you heard from Deanna, you've seen what happens when talent is met with sustained support in a village that doesn't leave. And for every student you've heard from today and at your table, there are thousands more across Houston with the same potential we haven't reached yet. And that is why we're here. And that is why your investment today is possible.
So I'd like a little bit of a drum roll, please, if y'all don't mind. Because of your generosity, we have already raised more than $718,000 in support of Emerge's mission.
Oh my God, that's so great.
And today, we're asking you to dig a little deeper.
Just a little bit. Just a smidge.
Let's make this the biggest day of giving in Emerge's history.
You knew this was coming. On the screen and on your pledge cards on your table, you will see a QR code and giving instructions. You can scan that code with that beautiful phone. Text the number displayed here. or complete the pledge card at your table. It looks like this big old long guy. We'd like to give everybody just a quick moment to do that right now. I'll wait. Pull out those phones. Pull out those phones. Scan the code right now. Text the number right now. Do the card. There we go. For the kids. All right.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Every gift gets us closer. And giving today isn't just about a single moment. It's about continuing to show up for students who are ready to rise when given the opportunity.
And if you are still thinking about how you'd like to give, our team will be at the doors as you leave, and we'd love to help you, make you be a part of this. And thank you so much for being here, taking the time out today. Thank you for supporting Emerge, and thank you for helping build the future of Houston one student at a time. I hope that you leave here today as inspired and energized as we are. Woo! Thank you for investing in our scholars and in the future of this city. This officially concludes our program. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Right on time. 1.